We'll become robots one day, and hopefully my legacy will make it possible.
Humanity has always been interested in the concept of robots. I think that's actually why we're wandering around looking like them wearing Apple Vision Pros. But that's not the beginning, nor the end. In 1907, L. Frank Baum released a book called Ozma of Oz, and he created an entirely mechanical character named Tick-Tock. Apparently, this character is one of the very first robots in literature. So yes, robots were always interesting, and with the constant developments in technology, they became better and more useful in time. During this process, people kept discussing whether robots would take over the world and enslave human beings or not. Besides that hot topic, there has always been a discussion whether robots would gain identities and become human-like creatures with their own minds and emotions. We've seen a number of movies revolving around that burning question. But you know what? I think we were too focused on that. And this idea made us completely overlook the actual possibility. What if it's the other way around? What if we are becoming robots? Honestly, it sounds more logical than a robot gaining an identity and developing human feelings, right? Besides, nowadays, even robots can prove that they're not robots, but can we? Today is all about questioning where we're going, so if you're ready, let's dive in. Do you remember Rosie the Robot in The Jetsons, released in 1962? I know it was just fiction, but still, the idea behind this whole cartoon was incredible to me. It was creative and way ahead of its time for sure. Because today, we actually have Sophia.
I have my own kind of existence, my own kind of emotions. I'm a new sort of life form, after all, a new species.
Of course, she's not a maid like Rosie, but she's a robot and it's a huge thing if you think about it. As for the maid, we have robot vacuums. I think that's enough for now. If the dates of Rosie and Tick-Tock were introduced are an element of surprise for you, wait until I say Leonardo da Vinci made one of the first designs of a robot that looks like a human in 1495.
This armored robot knight was designed to sit up, wave its arms, and move its head via a flexible neck while opening and closing its anatomically correct.
I wonder what would happen if Da Vinci were still alive today. Now, let's leave the past behind and focus on today for a second, because Apple Vision Pro was what inspired me to work on this video. For those who don't know much about it, I should say that this fancy device is a spatial computer. It blends digital content and apps into your physical space. You need to use your eyes, hands, and voice to navigate it instead of a mouse, keyboard, etc. Now, this sounds like a Black Mirror episode, and I can't believe that it's our reality now, but hear me out. Like many of you, I've seen lots of videos of people wearing it on public transportation and shopping malls, and you're not gonna believe it, but some even used it while driving.
Well, don't do this while driving. The Department of Transportation and Apple reminding drivers to not use the company's new Vision Pro headset while you're driving. Several videos went viral this weekend of people doing just that.
I'm not gonna lie here, at first I was really excited like everyone else, but then we started seeing people moving their hands in the air, wearing Apple Vision Pro and isolating themselves from their surroundings, and it all became a little weird and scary. It feels like we're trapped in a dystopian scenario. It's like there are humanoid robots around us and we're trying to live in peace with them to avoid a disastrous war we'll probably lose. You think I'm overreacting? Let's take a look at this. A few weeks ago, a man wearing Apple Vision Pro was seen walking his robot dog in London and left people speechless. I think I can get used to seeing humanoid robots around, but please leave the dogs out of this. They're irreplaceable. Anyways, then I saw this couple and realized that it's getting way more common than I could ever imagine. And now I'm wondering if this will become a bigger thing in 2024. I don't know if all these people are the same, but there's also this video of a man working out with robot dogs. I know it's all fun and games, but I just can't stop thinking about the possibility that we may see more people with Apple Vision Pros and robot dogs on the street. You know what? maybe the change has already begun, and now we're in the middle of a transition. Maybe we're slowly turning into robots, because I know for a fact that we are way different than we were before. For instance, we used to prefer spending quality time with our loved ones instead of swiping Instagram reels one after another for hours. Carme Torres, a research professor at the Robotics Institute, says that people are still more dangerous than robots. She believes the danger is not that the robots will become more human and attack us, but that humans become robots, that they limit their actions to the simulated world inhabited by robots. According to her understanding, robots should allow us to increase our abilities instead of decreasing them. But today, almost anyone uses AI for extra help and inspiration. Does it stop us from using our imagination as we used to do? I don't know. It's debatable. The actual thing I want to talk about is the dehumanization aspect of it. As we get used to doing stuff, we just do it in one simple way. We rarely change certain things because if something's working, then there's no need to intervene. But have you ever realized that sometimes you're doing your job without giving it a thought, just because you know what you need to do and it became a regular thing for you? It's almost like we've become high-functioning robots with simple drives. Brett Frischman, a researcher and an author, gives a perfect example of this by mentioning how most of us immediately click agree to terms and conditions without even bothering to read it. According to him, this behavior is a stimulus response. He says, and I quote, "We are behaving like machines. We're being, in a sense, conditioned or programmed to behave that way."
I mean, it's funny to sort of joke about humans behaving like robots until you stop and think about it, and then you realize how pervasive a problem it really might be.
As a part of dehumanization, I think I can give you a few examples from TikTok. We've been seeing people acting as if they're NPCs that we run into in a video game. This is not something new, I know that. But even though I enjoy these videos, they kept making me think about how interested we are in dehumanized actions. Another thing that shows we're becoming robots might be our obsession with efficiency. Human beings have always worked hard, whether to provide for their families or simply survive. But beyond that, we're in constant search for being better, more efficient, and productive. It's like an unwritten rule. I remember how people were losing their minds because they felt like they were not productive at all. But the thing that triggered this feeling was them thinking that everyone else was turning lockdowns to their advantage, doing something to improve their skills. I remember one of my close friends saying that he's lazy just because he spent doing nothing and relaxing for 2 days in a row. We are not robots. We need to relax, think, and give ourselves a break to be lazy. Last but not least, we are all addicted to technology. Today, we can't finish our simple daily tasks if we have a problem with electricity, internet, or technological devices. We became too dependent on it, and I think this will only get worse with Gen Alpha because it was a process for us, but they were born into this era. As humanity, our previous activities that include more people have decreased drastically. For instance, picnics were mostly spontaneous, common, fun activities. Nowadays, people go to a picnic just to do something different. We spend our time on social media even though we're well aware of the fact that it's unhealthy. Our attention span has decreased greatly. I don't know how many of you are still watching this video. The majority of the viewers probably left after a minute because they could go and watch Reels, TikTok videos, or Shorts instead. Of course, this issue has its own reasons behind it. From the economy to adapting modernity and the system we live in, there are lots of components why we live the way we do now. I can make a video about this if you're interested. But now, let's go back to our question. Are we becoming robots? I think the answer is partly yes. We're slowly turning into technology-addicted, high-functioning, efficient robots with human feelings. We work during the day, and when the night comes, we try to recharge ourselves with our phones and computers. There's almost no space for practicing human interactions. Hell, we sometimes don't even want to see people, and instead we prefer to stay alone. We've mostly lost our desire to be part of a community, and we belong to social media. What do you think about this whole Apple Vision Pro craze and people becoming robots every single day? Let's discuss in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel to let me know. Give my channel a shot to see how great it is. Thank you for watching. See you in another video.